4 wins in a row. 4 wins in a row. We haven't done that all season. Amazing. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the American Blues Podcast. This is your host, Terry Lee. Let's talk about Brighton 1, Chelsea 2. What a great end to the season so far. You know, if we go back just 1 to 2 months ago, I was not feeling this good. You know, that 5-0 loss to Arsenal, I was pretty much ready to call it quits on the season, call it quits on the project, on Pochettino, everything. But credit to this team, man, they've really turned it around. And I think it's fantastic. I can't remember, well, I can, but it's actually been a couple seasons that we've actually ended the season on a strong note. But let's go over the game real quick. Number one positive, Cole Palmer. Once again, my goodness, this guy, you just cannot keep him from contributing to the game. You just can't do it. You know, he could have a quiet game for 60, 70 minutes, but he will put in that moment of brilliance and it changes the whole game. And that first half header, incredible. Great cross by Cucurella. It was coming with pace, and he was quite a bit from goal. There was really only one way he could score that header, and that was to hit it with speed and to loop it over the goalie. And that is not an easy finish. That is a finish that almost any striker would be extremely proud of. And I honestly did not know he had that in his bag of tricks. Like, we understand his left foot is magic. He knows his positioning. He knows how to pass. His right foot's pretty weak, but I had no idea he could head the ball like that. Man, incredible. And another big shout out to Trevor, Chelesa, and Caicedo, and Cucurella. You know, Trevor Chelesa, you know, I kept saying the second half of the season, you know, he's always going to be dependable. He's always going to put in 7 and 8 out of 10s. But I thought this game, 9, 10 out of 10 performance. Incredible. Several key blocks, headers, tackles. And he organized that defense really well. And you know what? He actually manages to make Badiashile look good too. Like, they are actually forming a pretty good partnership where I'm not nervous the entire time. Granted, Badiashile did lose his marker for that one Brighton goal, but we were also down a man, so I suppose you could give him a little bit of leeway for that, but still, Badiashile was also strong in the air. Thank God, finally, for his height, he was strong in the air. He was quick to get back into the right position. Really good. And Cucurella constantly getting blued every time he touched the ball. Again, he was playing his inverted role. Sometimes he was even higher up the pitch than both Caicedo and Gallagher. And I thought he played it extremely well. He was dependable in defense. And, you know, there were several times where he actually defended really, really well against Lamptey, who I thought was lucky to be even on the pitch, but we'll get to that later. And then, of course, finally, Caicedo. Man, I think every single game this guy plays, we are just seeing more and more exactly why we spent so much money on him, why we almost broke the record for him, you know, between him and Enzo. But he is really showing his qualities. This guy is everywhere. He is an absolute engine. I would say he probably rivals Gallagher in terms of just how much energy he has and his ability to move the ball forward and to be that link between midfield and attack is just absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait to see more of him next season when he really gets settled and the team gets more comfortable. Of course, next positive, Nkunku didn't start the game. Mudryk started, which I was fine with. You know, we've started well the last few games. There's really no need to change when things are going well. But unfortunately, Mudryk had to go off and Nkunku came on. And really, immediately, that left side looked better. And Nkunku, I think he's just a more consistent player than Mudryk is right now. He's consistently in better positions. He's consistently better at dribbling and passing. And of course, at finishing, which is what we need him to do the most. And his hilarious balloon celebration. Like, does he just carry balloons in his pocket just for when he scores? Somebody answer that, because I don't actually know. But he must just have a pocket full of balloons that he gets ready for whenever he plays, which is incredible. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, really positive start to the game. And then what I really liked is, even though we took on a lot of pressure in the second half, you know, Brighton were coming on strong, which they were. You know, Brighton they're always able to score goals. Their issue has been they can't keep goals out. And especially at home when they're motivated and they don't like us, their fans don't like us, even though we're literally paying for your club to be alive. So some thanks would be nice. But I like that we soaked up the pressure. And we got that second goal, which so many times this season we've been unable to do. We've been unable to close off teams. And just look how important that second goal was to this game. I thought it was always likely that we were going to give up at least one goal. So having a 2-goal cushion, so necessary, especially when we just needed all 3 points. Yeah, and then being able to hold on when the pressure is on, that's a hallmark of a team that's growing. They're growing in confidence. They're starting to be able to rely on each other. They're starting to be able to soak up pressure and then make good decisions, stay calm, and still get another goal. And I like to see that. And I even like to see, even though things got even more nervy at the end when we went down to 10 men, we still managed to hold on, and there was 10 minutes of extra time, which was absolutely ridiculous. And again, most important thing is we held on, we made the right substitutions, and we got the win. Now, negatives. I would say my number one biggest negative this game is just the completely shit, inconsistent refereeing and VAR. And what the hell was that? First half, Lamptey, clear elbow on Mudryk. VAR didn't even review it. Had no interest. Didn't even review it. And you know how that wasn't a fake injury? Because Mudryk had to go off. His right eye was swollen when he went off. Ridiculous for VAR to not even give that a second look. And then I forgot whether it was in the end of the first half or beginning of the second half when there was a Chelsea penalty. I think it was Cucurella. And then VAR reviewed it. Rightly so. They took back the penalty because the defender got the ball. But then what the hell? If the defender got the ball and that went out, that's a corner. Like, why are we giving a goal kick? It wasn't like before the penalty was called, it was a goal kick. No, it was going to be a penalty. And now you've realized, hey, the defender touched it and it went out. It should be a corner. I don't know what kind of messed up rule this is where if you overturn VAR, it automatically has to be a goal kick. That's absolutely insane. That's not within the laws or the spirit of the game in any way. And then Jackson's disallowed goal. Honestly, the camera didn't really even show a good angle of his push. I could see he had 2 hands, but it's still a physical sport, right? You're allowed to push the defender off of you so they're not all up in your face. I understand if you're behind someone and you give them a shove to give yourself a little bit of room, you can't do that when you're scoring a goal. That's fine. But from what I saw live, he barely touched the defender, barely touched him. So I don't know. I thought that was extremely soft call, but it's fine. And then lastly, of course, the Reece James red. I saw it live and I was like, oh, did he kick out a little bit? And I thought maybe it was like the natural motion of his legs as he was trying to get up. But on replay, you can clearly see he kicked out. That's the second time this season on just stupid red cards. Red card against Newcastle, straight red here. Like, Reece James, man, come on. You're our captain. You have to control your anger. Like, we've been getting on to the rest of the team, especially Jackson, for just picking up so many yellow cards for just dumb behavior. And apparently we've actually set a record for most number of yellow cards in an entire season, which is not good. That's not a record you want to be setting. But Reece James, you just got back. And what kills me is that it's not so much that he's not going to be there for Bournemouth. He's going to miss 3 games at the beginning of next season. It's a fresh season. This is when we really need everyone fit, everyone part of the team. But just such a ridiculous moment, man. Like, if you're going to be club captain, if you're going to be injured for the majority of the season, the last thing you can do is just come on and be immediately sent off for a red card, and for a stupid red card too. Like, you got to just knock that stuff out. Like, you're old enough, you're experienced enough. Just please remove that from your game and just be there. Just all I want you, just please be there. Just be present. But overall, yeah, I think what I'm taking away from the end of the season at most is just how positive things are. We have a solid shot at Europa League now. Final game this day of the season. All we need to do is win our game. If Tottenham can lose, that would be fantastic. We'll move up to 5th. But even if we don't go to 5th and we end up 6th, as long as United don't pull off a win against City, which why would you, United? Like, please, you guys haven't been a real team for 10 years. Just don't find a reason this time to be a real team and just give City the FA Cup, whatever. I don't care. And then we'll get Europa. And that is our ticket to the Champions League the following season. And that is the experience that the team needs. And that'll give me a reason to pay for a Paramount Plus again. So yeah, let's get it done. Just one more game at home, end the season, 5 wins in a row, keep Pochettino, buy the right players over summer, and I think we have a good foundation for a much better season next year. And if you look back to where we've been the last 2 seasons at the end of the season, I mean, it is a night and day difference. Like, I don't know if people remember 2 years ago under Tuchel, the end of the season was terrible. We went on a horrible losing streak. We had absolutely no pattern of play. Our games were just horrendous to watch, where we were passing in a horseshoe pattern. Just the whole game, there was nothing. And then, of course, last season, my God, it was so bad that I completely blocked it out of my memory from trauma. But, we didn't win a single game after Lampard joined at the end of the season. And it was just... there was no hope for the team, absolutely no hope. And this season, we are finally ending on a positive. We are seeing real patterns of play, and good open field goals, like open game goals, not just penalties, not just set piece goals, but open field play goals from good passages. Like, we are finally seeing what hopefully they have been working on the training field all year, which is patterns of play, how to get balls up into attack, how to properly cross into the box, and how to score. I love it. Both of the goals today were absolutely incredible. I want to see more of that going forward. So one more game. Let's finish the season on a super high note, go into the summer strong. See you this Sunday after the Bournemouth game. Peace.